r/AskReddit. Lawyers of Reddit, what's the most laughable? I'm not a lawyer, but claim you've ever read? This wasn't online, but a guy was representing himself pro se against a client of the legal clinic I worked at the time. She had a semi-public job doing promotion for a local pro sports team. Some dude did a brief fan interview with her at a game, and that lone interaction sparked a 5-year stalking saga, during which she got married and had kids with someone else, that culminated in the stalker making the following claim. He wanted a paternity test for her children, because he was convinced she had paid someone to follow him, find out when he masturbates, break into his home, steal his semen, and deliver it back to her. Apparently she had then impregnated herself with his Kleenex semen and her 2 small children were actually his. I've never seen a judge look as shocked or as tired as I did on the day that motion for paternity was denied. Mail this to Dick Wolf and see if they'll credit you on Law and Order, SVU. In general, people arguing for an hour before realizing they live in different countries. My personal favorite, lol. I found that Redditors are absolutely obsessed with correcting each other with the idea that assault and battery are often confused, and that assault only ever means to put someone in fear of imminent harm. To the point where, if I even point out that that is only true sometimes, in some places, I will be downvoted. Roughly a third of states define assault as some version of purposely, knowingly, or recklessly causes bodily injury to another. I made a similar comment right after you, so I just deleted mine. But yeah, it's such a silly correction to make. To be honest, I'm surprised it's only about a third. I figured it was a majority. As a lawyer, I love seeing all of the Facebook posts telling Facebook what they do and do not consent to. It's the online equivalent of Michael Scott declaring bankruptcy. The most recent one I saw tried to cite the Rome Statute as justification. For those unaware, the Rome Statute is an international agreement covering war crimes and crimes against humanity. I'm a lawyer in the US, and for some reason people are obsessed with common law marriage. I see people on Reddit and even hear them IRL warning other people about how you've lived with her for more than X years. You're common law married, so you have to take that into account. Or well, we've been living in the same apartment together for X years, so we are common law married now. And NBSP. Common law marriage is only a thing that can be done in a small handful of US states now, and there are requirements to it. You have to hold yourself out as being married, live together, present yourselves to the world as being married, etc. You're not going to wake up one day and accidentally be common law married. And NBSP. Eater, guys, I never claimed to be talking about the law in Canada or Australia. I'm aware that it's different in those places. This is great. You just saved me the money I set aside for my common law divorce. I once saw a defendant argue for a not guilty verdict because there was no Mr. or Mrs. Commonwealth who testified. Obviously the charges were Commonwealth v defendant. He doesn't understand that. He was found guilty. The judge did not appreciate that. There was no Mr. or Mrs. Commonwealth who testified. Well, he did have a point. But when I was a judicial intern, I saw an arraignment where the defendant claimed the court had no power over her because she was a sovereign citizen who did not recognize the federal or state governments. Later learned that her sole source of income was Social Security. Some soft-sits believe that when they are born their birth certificate is actually registering them as a corporation that is separate from their identity as a natural person. And through a series of complicated financial entanglements, the government is basically using them as equity that makes up part of the country's GDP or something, which means that you are worth millions or billions of dollars and can theoretically cash out by finding the magic combination of words. The fact no one has ever done this successfully doesn't dissuade them from the fantasy. They just walk around assuming they are worth billions, and that any fines or penalties they incur don't really matter. This is also why they try to invoice the police for $250,000 hour whenever they get pulled over for speeding or driving their car with a cardboard license plate that says traveler written in Sharpie. They believe those invoices top up their imaginary bank account. Anyway, she'd probably wind up arguing that Social Security was just a disbursement from her true pool of wealth. If I ever become a millionaire or billionaire, it would be a great prank to claim that my money came from some of that sovereign citizen BS. I could go from a millionaire to a multi-millionaire by becoming a guru that teaches sovereign citizens how to cash out or whatever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you can see when I upload new daily content. Goodbye.